The meta of meta here, the Arkam Burst of Destiny case breakdown tournament is actually here, and this looks pretty good top-endy for a metagame breakdown. Don't be like the 30% of you guys that have not smashed the living crap out of subscribe button. Smash so we can get to 103,000. So the breakdown for this tournament is pretty interesting. So first and second place out of this tournament are what most of the community is now referring to as based, which is, I hate calling it this, but it's basically the multiple combinations engine deck. Punk, no punk. I mean, it's basically whatever you want to call it, and that's what the community has chose to dub that combination of cards. Now, what's also very interesting about this tournament was Invoked in combinations with Dogmatica and or Shadal made an appearance as well. Now, Invoked took a very, very big hit on the breakdowns as of late and pretty much just disappeared out of the chasm of time, and a lot of players are kind of looking around going, where'd Invoked go, Robbie? Like, what in the heck? Like, Wind is still a good card, right? I mean, yes it is, but unfortunately at this point in time, I find it massively interesting to see that Invoke got the chance to show back up and actually performed very well here in third and fourth place. Now, we also had two Praying Kids decks in Top Cut here. Now, we've seen Praying Kids continuing to kind of expand out here, take advantage of the Adventure package, and the deck has been an absolute mainstay in the format. I would say that in terms of power scaling on the format, that it is one of the better decks in the format. Not too bad. Then I also see here that we had one Virtual World list. Then we had one Flunderies list. It's good to see that Flunder is still kind of keeping up with the meta here, still being one of those lower tier 1 decks that can actually participate and do things. And, you know, M-Pen is a heck of a card, ladies and gentlemen. Plus, it's currently the only acting deck that can really kind of take advantage of a barrier stash. Now, we're going to pass it on over so we can take a look at those top deck lists. The first list we're going to be looking at for this breakdown is the first place finish from Joel Patan here. And as you're going to see, yes, this is basically we're using the Rocks Rose slash Whole Rose package here to kind of go up, make some synchro ladders. I see that we have a Subtinyi package in here. Yay, Vishuda. Yay, Mare shenanigans. And of course, Yield Small World to kind of bridge that gap to set up some of the better boards for the modern era here. And this, like I said, this deck is just essentially Synchro Toolbox Aurora Dawn combo with a lot of your good hand trap stuff built on into it. And of course, Sangan here is basically full combo here as you just get to start combo. And you gotta love modern era Yu-Gi-Oh, ladies and gentlemen, when you have enough one card starters to just end the game. I think this format will go down as one of the most powerful formats really in the game just because of how crazy high the ceiling is. Next up here is second place. Now, you see, first of all, a distinct shave off of value here, and then you look at this package and you still see the same thing here. You see a Mare sub package built into the deck for full extending purposes, but shaving off those extra 19 cards, you lose some of the fat, like Sangan, of course, and then you basically are just going down to like the bare minimum recyclable engines here. So while this build can still equally be on footing with it, because the other build has a wider range of things, I think your ceiling overall can just be a little bit better. Outside of that, you see that Based continues to be a dominating power force in the game here. And once again, when you can just pull from every engine here and generate free advantage chicken tendies, ladies and gentlemen, it's not too bad. So, deck is scary? Yeah, the deck is absolutely scary. Alright, next up here is Invoked. Now, this was third place. This was Daniel Tozzolino. Yeah. The big interesting thing about this is, as we've seen Invoked kind of take a step back here, this build literally looks like it just stayed in the time capsule here. I would say basically this is pretty much what you would want to play on paper, right? Just, you lost one Fusion Destiny? You lost one Adir Servant. Okay, like, in terms of adaptability, this deck hasn't lost anything, ladies and gentlemen. The only difference I think that's going on now with this build than other builds is breaking a board is a lot harder for this deck. while, you know, Macabre Pass with, you know, X hand traps can get you places. You know, if your opponent establishes a very big board, this deck just has massive problems trying to recover out of that in itself. So that's something to really consider here. Next up here is the other Invoked list. Now, you see here that we've extended out our Shaddoll package in the deck here. We have the Ariel, the Beast, and the Dragon, so you'll be able to kind of take advantage of what you want, like the Shaddoll stuff, right? Because Winda's still a very good card at the end of the day here. Plus, I mean, Ariel being able to banish stuff from the opponent's graveyard and really mess them up, yeah, this card is very good, ladies and gentlemen. Do not underestimate what a good value this can get. I also see we have talents built in here. I'm not a super big fan of talents, at least in this format, but you know what? I can see the advantage of this working out. This and Crossart are like two things I don't really want to see crazy amounts of in this format, but they are seeing play, and I think that is kind of something worth pointing out here. I'll see that we have one Mystic Stall in case what the oh shit button needs to be pushed. You know, just terraforming it on up if something's going wrong. So that is your 4th place finish, ladies and gentlemen. Next up here is Praying Kids Adventure. Now, 50 cards, ladies and gentlemen, all the easy stuff in the world here. And, of course, your adventure package is going to be the reason why this does good. I say this every single video, but remember, setting up an Omni-Negate and then being able to make a Battle Butler that can go pop twice on the opponent's turn for, you know, double board wipes, a lot of players cannot recover out of that, all right? So when you're looking at this going, you know, 50 cards like the way to go. We've seen multiple 50 card builds. This is no strange thing at this point in time, ladies and gentlemen. So I would almost give consideration of playing the 50 card variant. I think that this particular build, the hand traps look absolutely fine to me. I don't see anything else. Of course, board breakers here in the forms of droplets. Yeah, there's nothing really too out of the ordinary that I would just go, well, you know, I don't know if I'd play it for this or not. Next up here is Virtual World Brave. Now, remember, some of the earlier builds were doing like, you can play like punk shenanigans in this deck. I think the interaction points for punk in this deck can be pretty good, but I think you get more value out of your VW package. Also, interestingly enough here, we're on the triple water enchantress versus 2 rights. Okay, I like that. I see that, of course, we have Scythe built into this deck. Of course, I mean, everybody's playing Scythe this format, right? Like, why would you not want to play the best thing ever here? We have Crossout Detonators to stall anger the opponent. I see that we have Ghost Ogie, basic hand trap stuff here to do your thing. And, of course, we're still only doing 2 E-Tellies. Even though E-Tellies at 3, I've noticed that a lot of VW decks are not trying to push out on maximum numbers on that. I even see, like, we're on 2 Qinglong now. Okay. See, well, I guess you technically had to make room for some of the better options like these for your build. Next up here is Flaunderies. Okay. Dimension Shifter Wifters Checky Wecky. We're playing 1 Apex, 1 Ryza. We are playing the Crossout Detonators. I was wondering, I was like, why are we playing 1 Ghost Ogre? We actually have the Lancia built in here too, so we can Crossout Detonator. This build looks like it went the mile to come up with some very good counter strategy stuff to kind of block out some of those more troublesome cards. Because, I mean, this deck gets Lancia. You just kind of look at your opponent and you go, yeah, you start cursing in your head. I think that's the best thing. I mean, also, this is like a sub-starter for your deck, too, if you really need little fun facts for 500. But yeah, outside of that, oh, we're also main decking the 1 Cosmic Cyclone. Yeah, we really went full steam ahead here. I'll see, of course, we have the Ghost Reapers down here. This was one of the earlier things that we saw Flunders doing quite some time ago. Being able to just have access to Ghost Reapers is pretty good. And the last list is a 41-card version of Praying Kids. Now, this build is playing Dark Ruler No More versus Droplet. And unfortunately, you don't quite get the same, I guess, use out of this that you would in some of the other opportunities here. This card is still very good, but Droplets to break a board gives you overall a lot more oomph, in my opinion. So I guess this is something you can get away with for a local level here, considering this was like a localized case tournament, but I don't know if I'd want to do that. Also, seeing triple Raigeki inside decks absolutely feels so weird to me. So guys, what do you think about the breakdown for this case tournament? Very meta impacty, actually. Please leave a comment about what you guys think. We should smash the living crap out of that subscribe button so you guys don't miss out on more awesome content, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later on the day with some more cool awesome content. You guys stay safe out there, alright? Peace out, guys. Patrons, thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.